Yep, yep. You already know what it is. Southpaw Tuck with Southpaw Slick. And as you can see, I'm in the back today, outside. The power actually went out. We had the power out for the last 2 hours. So we've been working as best as we can, like using like light from the window and everything. But today's video is going to be based on a question I got from one of my Instagram followers. And he said that when he was watching some of my videos that I brought up black people criticizing you for being a certain way or speaking or talking a certain way, or i.e., oh, you talk white or you act white. And yes, I have said that in a few of my videos, and he was saying that he also experienced that growing up. You know, like I was black. I know I'm black, but I'm not into some stuff that other black people are into, and I've pretty much been disowned by black people because of that. So I know where he's coming from. Don't mind me, I had to take a pull. I told you I need to quit. I definitely need to quit. But going back on subject, I definitely have been someone who's experienced that during my adolescent years, more so. A little bit during my like adult years, but not nearly as much. Or if they do talk, they're probably talking behind my back. But I'm saying the older I got, the less I cared. When I was young, see, that's most people. When you're younger, you are ashamed of things that make you different. But when you're older, you start to acknowledge them and embrace them, because that's what makes you different. I said with a lot of black people, you have to be very monolithic. Like, you have to act a certain way, you have to walk a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, you have to be into certain things. And if you step out of boundary even just a little bit, you're excommunicated from black society. And that's something that I always thought was dumb. You know, like going to school, oh, you talk white, oh, you act white. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck does that even mean? So as I got older, I thought to myself, what? So black is equal to inferiority? Because that's what comes across my mind. You know, it's like, if you don't excel academically, if you rather be on the street or in school, that's being cool, that's being black. Oh, you failed your test, so I failed my test too. That's being black. Being into hip-hop culture, being into gang culture, being into street culture, that's all black to most black people. I'm saying if you're not into any of that, then they're going to look at you with a side eye. You don't play spades? Nah, there's something up with this nigga. You don't listen to rap? There's something up with you. You don't sag your pants? There's something up with you. Like, just dumb shit. And I'm saying, and it's always been something that irritated me. Like I said, as a kid, I was ashamed of it. Like I said, I was very ashamed of it, but I'm actually glad the way I turned out. And I always get that question too, especially when I moved down here. A lot of people, they already know just by the way I talk. The first thing that comes to mind to them, oh, are you from New York? Are you from New Jersey? Because like Connecticut is a state nobody thinks of. So those are the first two states. And I got a few Phillies in there too. But it's usually New York, and second is Jersey. But I'm from Connecticut. I say I'm from Connecticut, right? Mostly black people, they'll be like, does everybody in Connecticut talk like you? And I'm like, no, not even a little bit. They have that, at least the area I'm from. I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut, you know, which is 40 miles away from the Bronx. I said they speak like your typical tri-state area guy or girl, you know, it's very similar, right? The reason I speak the way I do is mostly because of my mother and my grandmother. My mother herself said that my grandmother prioritized, you know, academic achievement and excelling in life more so with her than any of her siblings. And she said she was the only one singled out. Like, she never came at my aunt or my uncles the same way. And I'm assuming it's because out of all the siblings, she's the lightest one. Same thing with my grandmother. Out of all of her siblings, because she's from South Carolina, my grandmother, right? R.I.P. they have that look, you know, like that country look, quote unquote, for lack of a better word. And she had a more conventional look, you know, like that Diane Carroll type vibe. You know, she didn't look like the rest of them. She's also the only one out of all of her siblings to graduate high school and go to college and finish college as well. So that was always something I got from my grandmother and my mother was, you know, like speaking eloquently. Even though over time at school, I definitely became apathetic towards academics, which I have a song called that, by the way. So I didn't do as well in school as I could have, at least my high school years. But yeah, I did good enough. I just didn't care. Like, I definitely had the capability of achieving more than I did. I did pretty well though, except for, I'll say, chemistry and math. Those are like my worst subjects. But everything else I did pretty good at. Even Spanish, I got B's. I got one C plus in Spanish too, my fourth semester. And that was it. But I got A's and B's, Spanish 1. I got 3 B's, 1 C, Spanish 2. Like, I did good, you know? But yeah, but that's the way I speak because of them mostly. And I never really thought about it because that's just the way I was raised. And that's one thing I always remember. Also, my grandmother was the first one to tell me that. And I'm sure you guys heard that quote before, that a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I remember her telling me that at a very young age, and I kind of took that to heart. So I just try to learn as much as possible, and that was it. I didn't think about, oh, like if I, you know, extend my vocabulary a little bit, if I articulate myself a certain way, then I'm going to be looked at negatively. I never thought of it like that. You know, it never crossed my mind until, you know, my classmates called it out. You know, like, oh, you talk white, oh, you act white. Like I said, it's the dumbest fucking shit to me. And it's one of the things that holds black people back, even till this day. Oh, you don't play spades? Oh, nah, I don't play spades. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what I'm saying, man. It's fucking crazy. Oh, you don't eat certain stuff. You're not black. You know what I mean? Like just dumb shit like that. But then again, you have some people that say that too. I'm black, but I'm not eat chitlins black. You know, like that's why I said, like, it's so fucking ignorant to me. I'm saying how, like, we don't acknowledge the differences in our diaspora. I'm saying we're all not the same. I said that should be embraced. That should be something to be proud of, that all of us are not the same. I said, like, can you imagine the world if everybody was the same? Like, we had the same interests, we spoke the same, act the same, look the same. The world would be fucking boring. It will be boring. That's why I'm saying if everybody was perfect, the world would be boring. So I'm saying we got to stand out. We got to stand out, you know. But yeah, I just figured, you know, like I thought that was a pretty good, you know, that was a pretty good notice. You know, I'm saying, like, that you caught me saying that in a few videos. 'Cause I mean, like, when the time called for it, I brought it up, you know. But yeah, it's definitely something I would hope has gotten better. I don't know how the kids are nowadays, like how they like treat you about shit like that. But you do still see memes though. You know, like, oh, like what's one thing that would make black people look at you crazy? You know what I'm saying? You see memes and questions like that still, so it's not completely gone. It's definitely not completely gone. Hopefully one day it will be. But break's about to be over. Southpaw Slick. I'm out.